Hello everybody, how's it going today? Welcome to course number 2, and today we're going to be talking about lesson number 6. This is a very long course, just so you guys know, and a very long lesson in general. We'll be talking about reading level 2, price action, momentum changes, and what are hidden walls. So the way that I gauge the market is mainly based off of level 2. Mainly off of price action and momentum changes as well. So because I'm a scalper, the way that I see the market, I see it oscillating like a wave, right? Going up and down always like a wave. And we are trying to catch it as it rolls over. In course number 1, it dealt on a very basic level, to be quite honest. Reading level 2 and price action. Here, I'm going to be narrating a lot of volatility for you guys. And we're going to try to predict just based off of level 2 and price action, how the momentum will actually change over. And you guys are going to see a lot of skill involved as well, because it has a lot to do with reading market depth. So I should probably read, adding here as well, market depth, right? Because we're definitely dealing with that on a very detailed level, in my opinion. Market depth, there we go. And hidden walls. So what is the level 2? Okay, we're going to go on Binance right now and just generally talk about what level 2 is, right? Level 2 refers to gauging the bids, the asks, and also the market order book right here, because it gives us an instantaneous real-time data of what is going on in the market. And especially on Binance, it's really important because, for example, on a 1-minute chart here, right? Sometimes it can go up 7-8% in about 10 minutes. So you want to be able to play it on very low time frames, including a 1-minute chart. Because if you're a scalper like me, it's absolutely going to benefit you in the long run. So we're going to see this side, for example, on Binance, as this side is the ask side. This side is the bid side. So if you are selling, you're selling to the bidders. And if you're buying from the people who are asking. And you can also set limits in here as well, of course, right? So the people that have orders in here, there are people with limit orders in here, right? And sometimes you see executions from a market order in here as well. And then if we talk about price action, that refers to what the price is actually doing. Like, what are the candles doing? What are we looking at? And how is the price actually changing in real time? That's what they refer to when they're talking about how is the price action, right? How is it looking at that instantaneous moment based off of looking at the level 2 and also based off of looking at candlestick analysis as well. So we will go back and forth amongst many different time frames that will give us a very good gauge of the market during that specific time. This way we can try to catch momentum changes, okay? And we're also going to be talking a lot about the market depth, right? So the market depth is a way for a chart to give us a visual representation based off of how many people are trying to buy based off of limit orders. So think of it like a tidal wave, right? Like I've always mentioned, the side with a bigger tidal wave will tend to devour the side with a smaller tidal wave. So as we zoom in and out, and we can see the market depth a lot better, right? We zoom in and out, and this gives us a laddering of how many people are buying. So for example, right here, at 677 Bitcoin, we see that there's 140,000 people buying to the right of that level, right? But if we go a little bit over here, for example, this is at 674, we see that there's 325,000 people buying. And then on Bitfinex, it's pretty much the exact same thing as well. And I'll over both of the platforms actually, so you guys get a very good gauge of how to read it from multiple platforms. So for example, if we're here on Bitfinex, the market depth is actually built right into the order book right here. So this is all considered a level 2, right? These are the people buying and selling for the trades. This is the order book here. If you zoom in and out, you can actually see the market depth in here as well, right? So anyways, let's get started. We'll be looking at a coin called PHX, and I'll be narrating it for you guys. I hope that you enjoy lesson number 6, and thank you very much once again for joining me in this class, guys. All right, so we're taking a look at a coin right now called PHX. It's listed on the Binance. It's called Red Pulse Phoenix, okay? But first of all, before we get into it, I would like to talk about joining some of the strategies that we've learned. in the previous course, right? Taking a one-to-one extension from right here, as we saw, and we see it hitting precisely a one-to-one extension. And here is most likely an A, right? B, a C, and I do expect a D going up there as well. Now, we're going to do this right here. We're going to take this particular section, because it's most likely forming something like that on a 5-minute chart, considering some of these as bear trapped and bull trapped regions as well. And we're going to scale that upwards just like that, because this looks exactly like it's making this right now, doesn't it? If it's not doing something like that, then it's doing something like that with a slight bear trapped region. Now let's talk about the level 2. So we see this right here, or the price action first. We see this right here, right, as a major resistance there. That's trying to break out of it. Now we take a look at the level 2, and we're just going to narrate this while this happens, okay, on a very low time frame. Sometimes it does this where it doesn't exactly align properly here, okay? Okay, so we see it breaking out of here, where we see this as 1, 2, and 3, 4, and possibly a 5 right there. Actually, let's go to the 5-minute charts, 3 minutes, a little bit easier. There we go. So this is going upwards like that, right? So we're probably going to see it it's trying to break out of that resistance that we saw it break out of already, okay? This resistance right over here that I'm going to annotate very quickly. Right around here. So we're most likely expecting a bounce at 541 ranges, right? So let's go back to a normal size view here and see if it's actually going to bounce at the 541 range that we're expecting it to, since, well, we take a look at the price action here and we see at 548, okay? It's definitely trying to be driven down right now, but the bulls have actually stepped in, right? 547, right? Well, I'll just say 47. 47 was actually trying to be sold to, but someone steps in at 49. Not many people are selling. More people are buying right now, actually. They're trying to step it up to the 550 ranges. We go to the market depth, and we're always going to go back and forth. And what we see is resistance at the 5.5 range, right? Over here, we see barely anything over here all the way up to the 5.5. I just want to make sure you guys can see it, so I'll move this over a little bit here as well, okay? So we see a lot of people stacking up. Take a look at this, guys, right? All over here. Take a look. People are trying to just stack it up higher and higher. Now it was being driven up. See 5.5, people stepped in, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. People are actually stepping in all the way to the 5.5s. But as soon as 5.5 is actually being sold, this guy dumps a very large amount, right? But it doesn't matter. Someone actually snatches everything up at the 5.6 ranges right here. He puts in 180 orders, but now we're down to 107. Now take a look right here, okay? 5.6 right here, okay, it actually went down to 30 if you guys saw that. But even though it went down to 30, right, and people are selling to the 5.6s right here, it doesn't even matter. This guy just puts in even more at the 5.6 range. Now 5.7 actually ends up coming in. And the way that we look at this market depth book as well, we see here at 5.58, right, there's a lot of people that's trying to sell here. Lots of people trying to sell at 5.59 as well, and 5.59 especially. And 5.56 too, probably, right? 5.56, we've got over 1.8 million. So here's the big resistance when we take a look at the wall right now, okay? We take a look at the wall and we see at 5.8, 5.9, and 6.0. That's actually a lot of money being walled there right now. We're gonna try to see if 5.6 can actually be broken, right? So we take a look at the volume here, and we see that on the 3-minute chart, it's actually spiking up pretty high on the RSI. On the 1-minute chart, because there's heavy volatility, we can take a look at there as well. But in my opinion, it is more likely to come down. And the reason why it's more likely to come down is because we're getting the series of the same high right here, right? Same high, but this one is much lower in RSI, and the volume is actually waning off as well. So we see at the 5.6, people are still trying to buy it up. Finally, someone bought it up there with a really large amount. He stacks up 81,000, but it doesn't matter because 20,000 got chipped right away. Now it goes up to 96,000, okay? So right now we're getting a really large resistance here at the 5.7 range. And notice in that last minute, volume dying off right here. And let's see, let me get my countdown here as well. There we go, 37 seconds left. There's barely any volume here. They just cannot break the 5.66 range, right? Or sorry, the 5.55 and the 5.6 range. There's so many people. Did you guys notice what just happened there? So because we actually could not break the 556 range, people or the market in general started panicking. And because they started to panic, we eventually drove it down from the 5.5 all the way down to the 5.4 ranges. And now this bid is actually at 5.3. So if you guys were playing on a very low time frame and you were scalping, you would easily have been able to tell that it was going to drop a few Satoshis there. Did you guys just notice what happened? Right? Because I mentioned over here that this is a lower high than that RSI right there, and this price action is actually the same as this one right there in terms of price, right? And because we saw huge resistance at the 5.5 range, that's how we're able to just tell on a very short time frame if we're able to break it up. Now we see a lot of people at the 5.5 range, right? At 250,000 right there at 55. But are people actually going to start buying it up? The only way people would start buying it up is if more people came into the rescue to actually start buying on the bid side. So this is how I always look at level 2 and how I'm constantly evaluating it, right? So right now we see this spread of 36 cents on Binance. We see at the 550 ranges, there's quite a bit of people, right? That's buying at 220K. We see at 548, 265,000. We see at 5.5, 241,000. So now it's just very, very slow here, and the market is fairly unsure of what is happening. But generally speaking, we are seeing more people sell than buy just based on the market depth, which is something that we should always be watching for. But if you take a look here, the bulls are starting to step in now. And the reason why this is very important is because we need to take a look at the instantaneous change, okay? We're not talking about on a 5-minute, on a 10-minute, on a 20-minute time frame. Whenever there is, excuse me, my lips are a little dry. Whenever there is massive and heavy volatility, it's always important, in my opinion, to take a look at a very low time frame. We're talking about a 5% increase, guys, right here, okay? We're talking about a 5% jump right here, okay? Take a look right there. 5% in 11 minutes. So why the heck would you want to even be looking at a 20-minute chart or a 30-minute chart if there is such volatility on a low time frame? So now the volume is slowly dying off. Now we're going to cycle it to different time frames as well and see who's actually buying and who's selling. So this right here looks like, okay, it really does look like they're spiking it up. It looks like it's going to consolidate, get a bunch of inside candles and break upwards, in my personal opinion. I think that this is going to be a very, very, very nice consolidation because no one is really wanting to sell right now. We got a lot of people at 548 and 549, 400K total from what I see. So let's go to market depth here a little bit closer. We see 40K here, and then the next one at around 549, right? We're seeing people stacking up all the way up to 140,000 here altogether. So market depth wise, we do see that the bears are winning. There's a larger tidal wave. Remember the tidal wave I was talking about? The bigger that it is, the more it is likely to take over the other side. But despite the bigger tidal wave, what we're seeing is nobody is trying to sell. We're seeing a lot of green across the board, and a lot of people are actually wanting to buy. So let's just keep narrating this price action together and see where this comes up. Now let's also take a look at another coin as well called DOC. All right, let's take a look at DOC right here. It's also in very much so the same type of pattern in terms of consolidating and ready for a breakout, okay? So we take a look at DOC here as well. Let's see what we can actually see. All right, so what we're seeing is it's breaking up for the impulse wave up right here, okay? So now I believe that DOC is going to be going up. We see this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and we see this as 5 and ABC. So I bet you anything that DOC is very likely to break out sometime soon. So this is heavy volatility as well. You take a look on the 3-minute chart for DOC, okay? And we see that it's gone up about 9% already so far. So why would you want to look at a 10-minute chart or a 30-minute chart when you would have missed the entire action already? Now let's go back to PHX and see where this is actually trending. Now it's actually still right around the same range, but more so coming down, like I was talking about. Probably going to get consolidation up to the 45 ranges, because what was once a previous resistance now ends up becoming a support. So what we want to do is bounce off of that particular region above the 540 ranges or so. We did peak up here to a fairly decent RSI at 70, but we didn't actually spike up to extreme RSI like how I thought we might have. So because the bulls would want to drive it up incredibly high, higher than the resistance as much as possible. This way it has a better chance to retrace much higher above the actual resistance that should now act as a support. All right, so here we go, guys. There's exactly like I mentioned. Do you guys see this right here? We are actually bouncing right off of the 544 ranges, as I mentioned, right? Because here is where the previous resistance was. That's now acting as a support. So we're going to see if there's actually momentum for us to support above it. So taking a look at the price action, it's almost indicative that we are going to be okay. And I cannot help but think that we will be okay, right? So take a look at that. We got right to the 544 range. Actually, we got to the 540 ranges, and now we're back up to the 546 ranges. That's kind of incredible, that type of volatility that we're seeing. And I highly recommend that once you guys get skilled enough, don't ever dare criticize the power of a 1 minute chart, okay? We're seeing it kind of starting to curve up now, the strength, which is beautiful in my opinion. I'm just going to change the volume here so I can actually see it a little bit better. I'm going to change this as well. You guys should always make sure you change all that. Double click on here. If you guys haven't done all these already, I showed you guys how to do it previously as well, right? So make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're customizing it as well as possible. Use a dark background if you prefer something dark. This is my favorite. I can't really see that though. Oh, there we go. Let's see if I can actually get to it. There we go. Perfect. I can't even click on OK. Oh, here we go. I gotta go to bigger screen. That's probably gonna be a lot better. Then go to black. Beautiful charts here. So we're seeing really hard if we can actually hold above here. Do you guys see? Right here. And this is a price action / level 2 learning, right? So you guys are absolutely seeing this right here where we're trying to hold above it. Bulls are absolutely trying right now. Are we actually holding? Not really. So here we go, guys. We end up failing actually. Let's go back to the level 2 and see how this fares up here. So this ends up being perhaps a bull trap, right? But we get to this region now, if you have noticed, okay? We get to this region that we actually end up falling from. Doesn't mean we've actually exactly broken through there yet, right? I said exactly twice, I don't know why. But it's not exactly like we broke through it yet. We just happen to face another resistance here. So now it seems like it's going to be range bound between the 4.4 ranges and also the 5.8 ranges. Let's see how this fares up in price action in level 2. So just keep looking at the level 2, guys. Very, very important that you guys learn how to read this, okay? And it's very important, especially during volatility, once again, because it's only during volatile times that you guys are going to be looking at the 1, the 3, the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20-minute chart. And I highly recommend that you guys purchase TradingView, you know, if you haven't already, because if you haven't, you're not going to be able to look at 8 charts at once like this. How are you going to be able to manage your time? You can't spend your time scrolling through every single chart one by one. It's just way too difficult. Bitcoin actually spiked up here, if you guys notice, okay? It went from 650 all the way to 65.10, which $60 is a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's doing an ABC somewhere in here for the first impulse wave up here. Very little volatility on Bitfinex right now. Let's go back to our coin here, Red Pulse Phoenix 541. It's trying very hard to maintain above here, but it just simply cannot. This guy here is trying so hard to hold it at the 540 ranges with 240,000 count. This guy steps in with $140,000 count or 1,000 count, but it gets chipped away here. Someone bought 21,000 and 22,000 right there. Anybody else going to step in? Let's go take a look at the depth of the order book here. We see a lot of people stacking up the sells, right? We get 100,000 right there, right? We're seeing a lot. 544, 546, 100,000 here, 300,000 here, goes up to 400,000. Not many people are really stepping in to buy right now. The bulls are definitely not winning this, in my opinion. If they were winning it, they would have won it already, and a lot more people would be stepping in to buy. Okay, we're at the 544 ranges, some small buys, but also the bears are not selling. That's what we're seeing. Seeing a big battle right now between 4.4 and 4.5 ranges. The spread's very tight, and because the spread's very tight, you look at it for the percentage difference right here at 0.18. Because it's a spread difference of 0.18, which is 1 Satoshi, you know for a fact that the spread's tight and it's gonna go one way or the other. Whichever side ends up stacking more. I always go like this, right? It looks like the bears are winning right now. They've got a pretty big count here at 20K, but it's not that big of a count, right? Big counts are like 100K, 200K. Reading level 2 is extremely important, and the volatility is what's going to help you time your entries and time your exits, especially during a really big spike. For example, Ripple, when it shot up, ooh, look at this. This guy is now just buying up here. He moved his up, if you notice, right? Big wall there. He moved his up 280,000 count to the 5.4 ranges, so he's clearly wanting to buy quite a bit. He put in a count for 1.5 Bitcoin altogether. It's not a lot, but you know what? It does show size. More people are stepping in here, right? Look at this here now. 140, right? 150. Ah. 544, really big battle right now. Let's see what Doc is doing as well. Okay, Doc looks like it's ready to bounce up now, in my opinion. Okay, we combine it with Elliott waves, like this, for example. This made 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 already. And then we count it with also a, where is the tool here? Sometimes it's hard to find. Fib right here, okay. And we see that it's about the 786 region, right? 786 region right here. 521 ranges, there's a really strong chance that it's actually going to bounce up right now, in my opinion. If you look on the RSI, no massive signs yet. Let's see. There we go. We're back up, still at 544. Nothing is happening whatsoever. There might be a small period of consolidation here before we see anything happening. But the point is, we're range bound now between 544 and also 556 ranges, which is about 2%. If you think about 2%, that's actually a really big range. Within 1 minute candles, huge range. Pretty interesting battle going on right now. This guy's holding up very well at the 540 ranges. It's only 1.4 Bitcoin, but that's actually still quite a bit. Excuse me, don't mind me having coffee. It's 4 in the morning right now, and I'm drinking coffee. I can't sleep tonight. And we simply see it break down. So remember earlier, I was saying at those ranges, right? At the 556 range, where I was simply saying it could not break it. And it clearly showed, because now we're actually downtrending, and it just, and the 5, and also notice how we were looking at the 5.4 ranges, right? 5.44 ranges, right where that resistance was. Well, we couldn't break above it, guys. So we end up dropping another 4% now. I just wanted to give you guys a clear example of how I read price action, because it gives you the most instantaneous and real-time gauge of what is going on. It doesn't mean that this has entirely failed. This could be right here, 1, 2, 3, 4 coming down here, or sorry, 4 and then 5 perhaps, and this could be just subwaves 1. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that could be a 5 right there, and this could be a truncated ABC. This could be the first subwaves 1 as well, but it ends up failing, so it just can't possibly be the first subwave since we retraced too much into that territory. This could be 1, 2, 3, and 4 ABC with a C truncated, and that's the fifth, which means that this could be an ABC in here. So this could only be the first subwave possibly of the of the 5 subwaves for the third wave going up. So now we're just going to see if we can actually break back above this resistance right here, or will we consider the resistance somewhere around over here, a little bit lower at the 540 ranges. We take a look at DOC, right, as well. Let's just take a look at it here. And we see that, okay, it's still hovering right there in that exact range that we were talking about. Nothing drastic is going on, but I do expect, for example, DOC to break out, and I will try to narrate it if I do actually catch it. But for now, we're seeing it sideways entirely for DOC. No one's buying or selling whatsoever. Very, very, very slow pace at the moment. We're still fighting right now at the 540 ranges, 542 ranges. Not many people are stepping in to buy. Not many people are stepping in to sell. The volume is slowly waning off right here. But I'm very curious to see if we can actually step up above the 544 range, which happens to be a resistance. And if we can break the 557 ranges, it's going to show very clearly on the level 2, and we'll just be able to spike out of it. Lovely. We're getting back above the 544 ranges, which is always a good sign. Some of the bulls have stepped back in here at 542. 173 count. Let's take a look at the market depth right here. Market depth is showing a fairly steady increase for the bulls slowly stepping in. We do have an 86,000 count though, right? The spread's at 37% right now. Kind of a big gap in my personal opinion. Every 2 Satoshi is 0.185%. We need to have the bulls not on the bids, or sorry, on the ask side, but the bulls on the bid side. We need to have the bid of the 544, okay? We need to have bids of the 544 on the ask side, so they will drive it up. So then people can sell to the 544. You have to think about it from the perspective of people need to stack up their bids, right? So the price is driven up because there's a large demand for people wanting to buy. Make sense? So let's say there's a large demand for people wanting to buy, and there's very little supply. It'll just end up spiking up the price because people will end up driving it up higher and higher. But we're just seeing such a big count right here, guys. So many little people are actually buying right here. We see a big amount right here, up to 160,000 at the 545 ranges, right? And we're only seeing all the way down to 538, only 100,000. So because there's so many bears right now stacking up, it just seems scary. But now more people have stepped up, right, at 37 ranges. We see a huge demand, right? We're seeing huge support at the 530 ranges, we've noticed, and we're seeing it wane off right here, okay? Right here at the 558 ranges, we see it die off. But as soon as it gets up to around here, at 559, someone has 500,000 there, which is actually a significant amount. So we're just seeing it slowly just settle. So as for DOC, not many people are buying or selling too much, okay? Very low volume right now, as you've noticed. The volume is literally half of PHX, so it's not nearly as volatile. Ripple is very slow as well. RVN super slow. Ethereum very slow as well. Yeah. And now the bears have completely overtaken the bulls, okay? And that's very easy to see because we see a 2 million count with 10 Bitcoin. So this guy is clearly trying to drive down the price. And the bears might have officially won. Now he loosens it up. Did you guys notice that? He might have done that just to panic the market at the same time though, okay? So despite me seeing it, I'm definitely going to believe at that moment that the bears were trying to win, right? They were trying to drive down the price. But now you got to wonder, why was he trying to drive down the price? Was he just trying to spoof the market to get someone to flash sell their orders and to panic? Was he actually putting it up there just so people would actually sell to him, right? Maybe he was putting in a bid as in to buy, because he was putting in the ask, right, to sell to drive down the price because he wants cheap coins. But either way, we're still seeing a huge battle in this price range. Doc is spiking up now a little bit. Since we last talked about it, it went from about the 520 ranges to the 521 ranges in a very low time frame as well. If I go to the 1 minute chart, you guys might be surprised, but that's a 2% gain. We don't even see 2% moves on Bitfinex. So anyways, I just want to give you guys an example of how to read level 2, and I'll give you guys a new example when there's a lot more volatility for another coin. This lesson will actually be really long, but I'm trying to let you guys get into my head, right? Just to see how I think when I read level 2, and I'm trying to narrate it as best as possible as well. So I'll see you guys soon when there's more action. Alright, so here's another coin right now that's incredibly volatile. Before we get into the level 2, we're going to talk about what the formation actually is, okay? So let's talk about this right here. This is not IOTA, it's supposed to be Key. So this coin is called Key. Not really sure exactly what it is, but it's Key traded against Bitcoin pair right now. We're gonna do a quick Elliott wave analysis for you guys to see what it is. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, 4, and 5. And then we take a look at it from this perspective as well, as this making 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th wave going upwards, right? Let's go to a minuet time frame, click on show wave to get rid of it, and we see that, okay, the 3rd wave is very clear right now. And then if we break it down even further, what we're trying to look for is a 5th wave somewhere, but we don't see it, right? Not quite yet. So there might be one more wave going up. Now let's go to the actual price over here. What we see is that the bulls are actually stepping in. See this right here with a 111 Bitcoin count. What's 111 BTC to USD? That's actually 710,000 American dollars. So we see a large amount of whales that are stepping in to defend the price, perhaps because they know that there's one more possible wave going upwards, right? And then we see the bear side as well, where they're trying to sell with a 34 count over here as well. Lots of people, because there's too much Bitcoin to actually push the price down. What this ends up happening because of the level 2 here, if you look at the market depth, right, we see a gigantic amount, which is right here, right? That's a huge amount, guys. So many. It's so much. It's unbelievable. If you take a look at here, right? How are you actually supposed to break this right here? You simply can't break it, right? There's just too many. 80,000 right here. And because there's just so many right now, look, this guy's selling 80 million counts. How are you supposed to drive the price down when there's an 80 million count? You can't, because this side is so large that this is the bigger tidal wave side. It will most likely end up devouring this side over here. And because it's about to do that, well, the bears simply just have no chance. People are simply forced to buy. So the price is more likely to go up than it is to go down. So if you do a basic analysis just off of RSI as well, on say a 10-minute chart, right, we see that it's definitely peaking higher at that point. Let's see if we can find any more bearish signs, right? If we take a look right here on the 15-minute, we see a high, we see the same high, and we actually see right here a much lower high. But each time the price is actually getting higher, right? Higher, and this one's higher as well. So because it keeps getting higher, the price, but because the RSI is actually losing strength, there's a chance that it's still going to simply just shatter this right here, okay? So there's also a really strong possibility, once again, that the bears will actually win. So think of it like that as well, okay? So even though we're looking at just the level 2, and we see, based on level 2 alone, excuse me, that it's almost not possible for them to shatter a 107 Bitcoin wall, which is about $250,000 American dollars. Well, that's true to that extent. But if you look at it in terms of losing strength over here, And also in 9 minutes, we're going to get possibly a histogram tick, right, to the very neutral level. And we also see the bearishly diverging RSI. Well, think of it, which sign, right? Which way is it leaning more towards? Are the signs adding up? Where do we find confluent reasons to end up selling, right? Or do we find confluent reasons to actually take profit here? Or do we find confluent reasons to actually go long here? In my personal opinion, I think that yes, this does look really good, and I will contradict myself now, but I'm doing this because I'm trying to show you guys that level 2 is simply just not enough sometimes, and price action, you also have to combine it with a lot of different factors as well. So if we combine it with the factor of, hey, Elliott wave is pretty much almost done, and then we also combine it with the fact that, hey, it might start bearishly diverging soon, even more on the RSI, well, there's a good chance that it could come down, but more likely because of the simple count alone of 118 Bitcoin here with an 85,000 count, it is also very scary at the same time, and it could possibly just spike up because the count is simply just too big. So a quick lesson video for you guys here as well, based off of level 2 and market depth especially, right? So despite us seeing this formation right here, 1, 2, and then subwaves 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which makes the third wave right here. And then we're looking for a fifth wave somewhere at the top, but we don't actually see 5 waves, right? If I go to like an 8-minute chart, kind of an in between, or like a 10-minute chart, what we see more clearly right now is that there's a 1, 2, and this is a 3 clearly, and a 4, and we're looking for a fifth wave somewhere. And that is possibly why right now, okay, why we're getting a very large amount of a pressure to actually go up, believe it or not, okay? And I'll show you guys in just 2 seconds. So that's 3, 4, right? And is there actually going to be a fifth wave as a double top or a tiny bit higher to the 160 ranges? Take a look right here. We actually have bulls massively stepping in at a 132 Bitcoin, okay? 132 Bitcoin is definitely a lot of money to be adding to the market, which is $845,000 right now. So because it's at $845,000, that is on the bid side, right? The bid side, so people are buying. They're actually trying to drive up the price right now. And if you take a look at the market depth, which is very symbolic of a visual representation of which way it is more likely to swing, think about it, okay? And now he actually decides to lift up his wall, guys, okay? He lifted up his wall, and then he actually ended up dividing it up, sort of, right? Now there's actually 75 million count altogether, right? So a lot of people were chipping away at his wall. He noticed it, right? So he ended up lowering it just a tiny bit. Now the big question is it actually going to hold? It'll confirm my theory that there's one more wave up if we actually hold slightly around this region, around the 133 and up region, and then there will be one more wave. But if it retraces to the wave 1 territory heavily, like around 130, it's going down, guys, and that's it. So now we're seeing, right, it's not actually holding. We saw this massive wall that was holding temporarily, but it was just not holding anymore. So we got to make sure that we see if there's going to be a fifth wave up once again, right? So if there's a final wave going upwards, it should hold above this level because we follow the Elliott wave rule that wave 4 cannot retrace into the wave 1 territory by really that much. In leverage markets, you can on Binance. I'll also accept it in crypto. But the moment it falls below this level, around the 133 range, it's done, guys. The uptrend is absolutely over. And then we'd have to wait for a re-entry. And where would it be a possible re-entry? The possible re-entry for a long position, if we choose to play a bounce, would be anywhere. It would be a very vast range. In fact, we wouldn't even know where it is. Right now, this could be the final wave already, and it could honestly be done already. I don't think it's actually going to go up, in my personal opinion, right? I mean, we're probably going to end up getting a retracement to somewhere around those particular levels, in my personal opinion. But that is definitely an incredibly bearish candle to be looking at, right? Look at it. Like, it's done, guys. Look at this massive red candle right here. Doji candle, huge red candle right after it. I mean, we just look at the signs, right? We see right here, for example, a really nasty shooting star with a hanging man with a very bearishly engulfing candle. So looking at the level 2 though, once again, if it holds above the 133 range, we might get a chance for one more small subwave upwards, and then after that, we are entirely done. We're seeing a lot of people still holding here at the 50 Bitcoin, right? Then we see the 135 range as well, just slightly holding. We see that the bulls are still winning because they're the ones placing up the bigger walls, and there's much bigger sell orders than there are actually buy orders. Or sorry, there's much bigger buy orders than there are sell orders. Okay guys, let's talk about another coin now, back to PHX, okay? So first of all, this is why I'm not gonna long it or anything. I'm done trading for today, but we're gonna go over it. I believe that this is gonna be a big bounce here. And the reason why, first of all, we have to talk about the underlying logic behind why I think it will bounce, okay? So I'm gonna call this an A, B, C in here, okay? A, B, and C like that, right? And we're not gonna get into too much detail in terms of the A to the B structure, but we're going to talk about the C structure a lot, okay? So let's talk about this right here. Right there, just like that. This is probably going to be a really big bounce here. We're going to follow up together and hold ourselves accountable while we trade this, okay? That's A, that's B, and that's C. Clearly, first wave up to make the A, right? We're going to get this on the right degree so we can see it annotated properly. I always put mine above it though, okay? I put mine above, for example, right here, because I just want it to be nice, right? Usually it should obviously be the other way around, where the B should be higher than it, but just for these purposes of education, we're gonna have it like that. So now I look for 5 waves coming downwards, and I say to myself, all right, well, that's gotta be 5. And this makes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming down, 4. And then there's basically a 5 wave, right? We'd see 1, 2, 3, 4, and we see 5 already, right? So is it possible that this right here is actually the end of it? And now it's going to attempt the impulse wave up? Because we see the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? Do you guys see what I'm talking about? So yeah, it's very likely for this to bounce upwards right now. So we're going to go over to level 2 over here, okay? Do you guys see right here? We're going to see if this is actually going to bounce up now. It's getting kind of low on the RSI. Very low actually, it's kind of dipping to lower levels here, but it could just be a forced sell-off on purpose so people will actually sell, right? The bears sometimes will want to drive down the price just so they can accumulate very, very cheap. And we see a very large volume pick up here of a sell-off. But now are we actually going to get a bounce? Let's take a look together. It got all the way to 490 ranges, okay? We're actually at support right here at 483-ish, right? Just around these particular levels. Let's see if it's actually going to hold somewhat, a little bit. Now let's go back to the charts here. That was on a, what chart? 5-minute chart, okay? Now let's talk about possibilities. Okay, possibilities like this. And another reason I'm not trading, guys, is because it's 7 in the morning and I'm honestly in bed already. But I just got up because there's a lot of volatility and I want to make this video for you guys. I was actually, if you guys were following me tonight's, you know what, even if I talked about it, wouldn't matter because it's hard for you guys to remember everything that I tweet about because I tweet so much, right? I mean, if that were a possibility right here and we get a double bottom, right? Clearly, there's going to be a chance for us to go for a long right here somewhere, right? If that's possible, then we're going to see a possible bounce all the way up here, okay? Make sense? So we don't know if it's actually going to be an impulse wave failure yet at all, right? So we got to keep looking at the level 2 over here. So we're just going to assume, first of all, that this is just ABC, right? In a formation like that. And we're going to assume that it could hit somewhere even up here, anywhere between these particular levels at even, right? It could be anywhere up there, in my opinion, which is actually a really generous target as well. Then you value it from the perspective of RR going long, well, you get yourself a really nice RR. Anywhere between, say, even here, right, for a 16% gain. Now let's talk about the level 2. what we see here is, first of all, the RSI being driven down a lot. We don't really see a lot of people stepping in to buy. Slightly more on the intermediate level right now, between between 95 and 96 ranges. That's kind of it though. Not really that many people coming in to buy, in my opinion. Let's just see how this level 2 actually ends up playing up. A lot of people just stepped in to buy right here. He put a 700,000 count in there. 200,000 count as well. There's a big count there though with a 500k count, right? And we don't know if he's actually got more. If he's got more, it might be kind of scary. These guys got knocked out pretty quickly. Did you guys just see this guy sell here at 115k? Yeah, he sold it really quickly. He completely took out that guy there. So in my opinion, this is a very likely trade to happen. All right, so we actually see the price for PHX just spike up now, right? We're seeing it spike up to 497. So that's an entire 1% already going upwards, right? So we're seeing this guy at 494. He actually held up the price pretty well there. And the spread's getting kind of big. Like 40% spread right now is actually pretty big. So let's go back to key as well here, right? We were talking earlier about it needing to hold roughly around the 133 region, and that's exactly where we're holding right now, which is kind of funny at the same time. All right, let's go to a 3-minute chart. During volatility, once again, always look at a higher time frame, okay? You don't want to be looking at a very low time frame, okay? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's obviously one up, and the 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's see if this actually breaks downwards. I don't think it's actually going to hold. I think it's going to break down on key. Let's go back to PHX here and see how this is holding up. Big wall here, right? You guys see this guy putting a 1.5 million PHX count in there. It was actually much bigger than that. It was like 5 Bitcoin. And then he also had another one up there as well. So pretty big counts all together. So the volatility is incredibly important, guys, when you're looking at level 2, or sorry, during heavy volatility, you guys have to look at this. You've got to look at level 2 like this. You got to look at the market order. You got to look at price action. You got to check out candlestick analysis to get a real-time gauge of everything going on. You have to be able to go back and forth between multiple coins so you can manage your position, as you guys have noticed. And I kid you guys not, that I could trade purely based off of level 2, candlestick analysis, and pure price action if I wanted to. And I used to do that for a very long time just so I can practice. What I used to do was I used to focus on practicing with only trading a small amount, guys, with only one specific style. And I knew how to read RSI, I knew how to read, MACD and Elliott Wave, etc. But I simply did not incorporate it into my trading at that specific time for practicing, because I wanted to be really good at just price action level 2 and momentum and candlestick analysis alone. Because price action, guys, it's such a good tool. And then once I got really good at that, I started learning more about how to incorporate RSI, MACD, Elliott Wave, etc. Right? So once you sometimes focus on one specific skill, you kind of fine tune it, and that's what I'm trying to do. You look at PHX here, guys, and it's not really the reason I'm focusing on these coins is because they're the two most volatile, right? As you guys notice, PHX, DOC, right? Key, BTC, IODX. That's why I'm looking at them. They got a lot of volume and it's super volatile, especially Key because it moved up 30%, right? So Key is still somewhat holding here, right? But I don't know how much longer it's going to hold for. Let's have a look and wait. If we create about the 30% amount already, of course we'll find support at the 26 region, right? But we're going down to the 132 ranges. PHX, we're breaking right back to where we were. But keep in mind that for PHX, this is actually a very nice coin right here in general. We've done an Elliott Wave analysis on both of them as well, right? So let's see if this is actually going to hit our target. All right, and we see Key completely break down. So I was right about the top earlier, okay? Completely broken down, broke below 133 ranges. We're at now 130. And also PHX is still trending between the 488 region, right? This is the where is it here? I'll show you guys the low, okay? Right here. Okay, this is the 488. See right here where the low is? 488. And we're trending at 491 right now. So if we actually break it down very far, right? We see this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's possibly the fifth wave. Yeah. So if this is the fifth wave here, we're going to get ourselves a very, very nice retracement going up. Yeah. So let's just see how this is looking. So now we're seeing at 491 ranges, right? 491, there's 488, the first 489 end up showing up there. 5-minute chart's getting pretty low on the RSI here. Let's just see on the 3-minute chart how this is going. I hope you guys are enjoying this narration of level 2 and price action so far. So important, guys, so important. You guys want to see what I just tweeted? Did you like my narration of price action from my bed on my phone that called the top and saved you 15%? That's right, guys. I was in my bed doing an analysis from my phone, calling the top, basically, okay? Literally calling the top. I was telling everybody and warning everybody just based on price action and level 2, or sorry, not even level 2, just price action and candlestick analysis alone. Called the top of that one. I saved everybody 15%. Think if you were playing a $10,000 position, okay? Just saved you $1,500. So this is how important stuff like this is. It is no joke, guys, how important price action in level 2 and momentum changes in general are. There we go. We're actually bouncing up quite nicely. We hit the 489, 488 ranges actually. Now we're bouncing up 495. If this is indeed ABC with a double bottom there, it might actually be an incredibly good opportunity to go long. Let's see how this ends up playing out, right? Here we're still hovering, right? The support level as well. Lots of people are still buying up here at this region, but the volume is definitely waning off. Whereas on PHX, the volume is starting to pick up there, but most of it was actually sell volume. At 473 range right here, they're definitely trying to hold it up. I cannot help but think that we are so close, guys, for an uptrend here. I'm tempted to trade, but honestly, I'm so tired that I have to go to bed very, 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 very soon. I have a long day tomorrow. Yeah. It's starting to pick up here quite a bit. Take a look at this right here, 496 ranges. This guy's stepping in with 2 Bitcoin count. Key still in the same boat right here as well. All right, this is going up right here, okay? 497 ranges is going up. Make sure you guys are focusing on this area right here, right? 497 is definitely picking up some nice momentum right now. Volume is starting to be steady as well. Yeah, if this actually ends up being an uptrend, it's going to be a pretty nice uptrend. I mean, it's so crazy how this, what does this end up hitting him hitting right here? Obviously not even close to 1-to-1. But let's just take a look anyways and just check it. 768, not even. It's because the A wave came down so hard, right? So freaking hard. I'm getting a little bit tired, I have to admit. 497 ranges still just getting poked at, that's all. All right, 498 ranges is starting to pick up here. Not bad, right? People are starting to stack up their bids. Let's check out the order book. Order book is looking good. People are buying at 498. That's the important thing, guys. People are actually buying. Looking good all around right now. Let's just give this a little bit more time. But we look at the order book, and what we see is that a lot of people are stacking up at this range right here, the 501 range, right? But we can chip away. There's only 261,000 count altogether, all the way up to here, around the $5 or 500 range, right? Not really that many. I do think that we're going to successfully chip away at the 500 range. And guys, it feels good to be right. It feels good to be right. Check that out. We ended up breaking above it, right? Look at that spike right here. I'm so right, guys. I'm honestly so right now. You guys like that? You guys like that? That was really nice, right? Just talking about the volatility there. Here's the spike up right now on PHX. It's gonna go up now, okay? It's really gonna go up now, I think. People are buying. Okay, it was bound to go up, in my opinion. Like, it was definitely bound to go up. Absolutely, because it just makes sense. Oh, look at that gap right there too. It was nice. I mean, how could it not have gone up? We count 5 waves everywhere, and I've gone through such a detailed count as well that it's definitely going to go up, in my personal opinion. Yeah, guys, look at this right here, okay? It's spiking up to 512 now. And that's how you read level 2, to be quite honest. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna follow up with this a little bit later and see how this actually plays out. This was an awesome example of just how to read level 2, right? But just seeing the price action. So I think it's gonna hit roughly 573, 574 minimum, and it's probably gonna go up from there. See you guys later. Alright, so today we're taking a look at EOS, Ripple, and also Bitcoin here. And what we're noticing about the volatility is that it's fairly heavy right now. We see a lot of the bulls that are coming in to stack here with a 27 count, which is actually quite a bit, right? We don't know how many are hidden, but there are 80 Bitcoins. We see Ripple, just lots of resistance around the 455 range. I'll just say the 45, 46 range. It's a little bit easier just to the second and the third one after the decimal there. So we see here 46, 46. Lots of resistance there to go upwards. We see tons of people trying to buy up right now. I'm in a short position, just so you guys know. Okay, I'm in a short position for EOS and also a short position for Ripple as well. So I'm definitely favoring the bear side. I just cannot see this going up, guys. I just have a hard time seeing it go up. There's just not that much strength that it's gaining. Like this is not like a V correction whatsoever. I just think that there's one more wave coming down, where this is like the first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, and there's still got to be a fifth one somewhere coming down. So in my opinion, it's very difficult for me to gauge it, or sorry, for me to believe that it is going to go upwards. It might go up a tiny bit, like we're talking a small amount, right? Just for one wave. But other than that, like I just can't see it uptrending heavily whatsoever over here. Let's see the 1 minute chart, see how this is looking. It's just looking bearish in my opinion. I'm tempted to add more to my short. Like, you did take a look at EOS here as well, right? So we're trying to combine price action. We're trying to combine a lot of different factors right now that will add up to give us signs. 15-minute chart is the one that's kind of looking bearish to me, where that's only going to tick up a tiny bit. But we're going to go to a 10-minute chart here, okay? Let's go to only 3 charts because I don't need to look at all of them right now. I'll need to look at EOS and Ripple. That's what I recommend doing, okay? Whenever you guys are trading, always just go to the pairs. You don't need to keep every single one on, just so you can actually hyper focus. I mean, doesn't that look bearish to you guys? Let's take a look at Bitcoin's level 2. People are trying to buy it up, right? Those bulls are holding right there at 63, 65. They're forcing people to buy up here. Notice the spread difference right here. Like there's, think of the side with the bigger tidal wave. It'll devour the side with the smaller tidal wave, right? And it's going to set the wave for pretty much all the coins, in my opinion. That's kind of how it's looking. I'm down like about $100, but not even 0.1% on each one. But we're just trying to reach just level 2, right? So if you look on here on Bitfinex, right? Here, there in the past, right there, between the 10:08 and 10:11, there's actually only been how many trades here? Been 25 trades, right? In the past 3 minutes, so it's not really that much. So let's take a look at another coin just so we can take a look at the level 2 and see how the volatility is, right? On Binance here, always go to the market depth. You see a 0.65% spread. That's actually a pretty big spread in my opinion, okay? Pretty big spread. It's almost 1% if you think of it that way, right? It's the most traded coin today. We go to the spread and we see that people are interested in buying at the 303 ranges, right? And it's actually resistance around the 305 range, especially with the 1,000 stack there, with a million stack, with the 600,000 stack there, right? But we are also seeing major resistance here. This guy's putting up a 642,000 stack for 2 Bitcoin. So the level 2 is extremely slow right here. So once again, this refers to the level 2, right? This is the order book, and it just shows you all the market orders and the bids and the asks. And then when we talk about price action, that's referring to how it's looking just based on the level 2 and based on the price on the charts as well. Let's go to a really low time frame, like a 3-minute chart here, and take a look at how this is trending so far. This is actually a crazy coin that spiked up a lot today. It spiked up like 10% earlier today. That's a massive uptrend. Like, take a look at these coins, right? Pretty big uptrend. This one did 1, 2, right? And then this one did 1, 2, 3, or sorry, 1, 2. Actually, I couldn't even tell you the wave here. It's too small. I don't want to get into Elliott wave. We're not really there yet, right? So yeah, they're trying to chip away at 310 now. Have you guys noticed? Someone actually bought the 638. Notice it right here, 638,000. He bought the 2 Bitcoin worth. Now we go back to the market depth and we see that there's a stack here at 311, right? That's the next 400,000 count right there. So let's go back to EOS. What we see with, I'm just checking the time on here. What we see with EOS right here is that people are slowly buying, but still guys, ever since we went back to the other coin in the 1 minute, right here in the past, take a look, okay? Between 10 and 10:11, which is actually 11 minutes now, sorry. Yeah, 11 minutes, my mistake there. I think I said 3 minutes earlier. No, I was right, yeah. So in 11 minutes, there's only been 25 trades. Ripple in the past 3 minutes, it's only been 25 trades. So this stack at 311 is holding pretty decent right now, but it's the 306 and the 307 guys right here with about 1.3 million total. That's kind of holding it up, right? So if you zoom out a little bit, you see this guy here. Total is this is the cumulative. So think of it as the total, okay? Think of it as a total. It adds up the amounts right here. All of these coins are added up and it reflects in these right here, okay? So there we go. We're going up $1 or $2. It's really, really, really depressing actually just to see how little it's going up right now. RSI is not really doing anything right now, but it just looks like it's setting up to completely drop right now, to be quite honest. Just the way I see it. So 310 ranges, 311 ranges, still the same thing. Let's go take a look at other coins like Key. How's this guy doing right here? Key is some major buy orders right now, okay? Pretty big buy orders right here at the 120 range, okay? So at the 120 range, we take a look right here, okay? There's a lot more people that are buying. There's about 4 million people, more than that actually. There's 13 million all the way up to the 118 range, 117 range. So it takes all of these amounts right here and then adds them up and puts them there, right? That's how it is. So this will show, 3.6 million there, right? And it'll take 3.1 million plus 3.8 million to get you about 7 million there. And then it just keeps going like that. So this one, you see the 1 million and it shows you the 1 million right here, right? And then 2 million now, and then it takes 2 million plus 4.2 million to give you your 6.2 million as well. So we're just taking a look at here right now, and like this was bound to happen, guys, okay? This was bound to happen. This was also a descending triangle as well, if you noticed. This descending triangle was very likely to drop downwards, and that's exactly what it did. I don't believe that this is going to be entirely done at all. I'm still super bearish right now as it stands. I believe there's one more wave coming down, and I cannot help but think that. I don't care how low the RSI is right now, okay? We're not getting a V type of formation to go up. This is a V formation, okay? Where it drops very heavy. And then based on level 2, we see just people completely jump in, right? Whoops. We see people completely jump in and they start buying up, but they're actually not doing that whatsoever right now. We also see the volume waning off, which means that it's going to make some sort of bearish flag consolidation, which is exactly what it's doing right now. and then it's more likely to drop down for another wave coming down, and then it'll be time to buy it to go long. So for now, my logic entirely is sound, where we are going to short it. So this right here is what we call a hidden wall, okay? A hidden wall happens all the time. And I don't mind, once again, showing you guys my balance. A hidden wall is when you actually see people, okay, buy up at a specific price point, okay? But you actually do not see it in the order book whatsoever, right? This guy just bought at 515, and you simply don't see it there, right? You guys see what I'm talking about? Someone finally, though now it's actually even lower. See? Did you guys just see what I'm talking about? And I don't mind you guys seeing this balance because it's for Udemy's trade challenge anyways. Did you guys just see that right there, okay? Some guy had a wall there at 1485, right? But it wasn't even showing on there whatsoever. And before it was at 1550, right? See that right there? 1485. You guys don't see that in the order book. And you don't see that because it's a hidden wall. This guy's got a monstrous amount. He is putting up a large amount at 1485 there. Watch, let me show you, okay? Let me just give you guys an example, okay? If I put one here at 5.1518, right here, just normally, okay, I'm just gonna, 5.1518. Okay, so if you guys see it right there, I'm just gonna show you very quickly, right? If I put down 10, just as an example, you see it right there, right, in the order book. But if I actually do it right here like this, okay, if I go hidden, you actually don't see it in the order book at all right now, right? I got another 30 seconds here. Now, do you guys see it disappear at 1518? Watch, I'm going to show you again, okay? Now I'm going to take this out, and now you'll see it, boop, it'll pop up right there. And the reason people do this is because they have too big of a size that they actually don't want to reveal. Maybe the guy's got like 30,000 stacks, you know, or 30,000 EOS, more than that. Maybe he's got 100,000 EOS. You simply don't know. But the fact is, he's willing to pay the maximum price simply because he's got too much. All right, so I'm going to attempt a live trade here on Binance, okay? I'm only going to play with about a $1,000 account here for now, all right, that I set aside. Okay, so I'm going to see, first of all, if it's actually going to break out of there. Right, because we're hitting a resistance right here, if you guys notice. Okay, we're hitting a resistance and we're trying extremely hard to break it, but we're getting a lot of resistance here. The histogram is just leveling off. So I'm taking a look right here to see if we can actually break above this region right here. And the key resistance is about 697, okay? 693, so we didn't actually break it. We end up down ticking instead. This tiny little volatility, even on 1 minute chart, is actually a 4% gain, right? So I don't think that we're breaking out of it right now, okay? It looks like an ascending triangle that's forming, if you guys notice here. Take a look, okay? Yeah, this is on a 1 minute chart, but that's okay because, well, it's all right because they're so volatile, right? So it's okay to play on a 1 minute chart here like this. So no trade entered because we didn't break out of it and we end up coming down instead. Right, so now I'm going to look for a re-entry at 678 right here to see if this is actually going to be bullish at all. All right, so let's see if we can actually enter here with decent setup here. So I'm gonna set, you know, just a mental alert here. We're just gonna take a look at the level 2 order book here and just see how this works out. So trying to give you guys more examples. WPR, I've got no idea what that coin is, to be completely honest. Okay. No idea what the heck it is, but it seems to be doing very well today, right? Based on, yeah, like all these coins are doing very well today. We got storage going up, we got DNT going up. I want to see Civic here. Civic is really low right now. I got a tip from someone, a really good friend, to be looking at that. 694, right? There's a pretty big spread right now if you guys notice it, right? You look on the market depth right here. Actually, no, it's not that big at all. It was big. Now it's 29, right? Because there was like 4, that's 43. So it was pretty big in general. Let's see if we can actually break out of here, right? We're not really getting any signs of it saying that it can break out of it right now. The volume is actually dwindling at the resistance, which is never good, right? So I'm just trying to give you guys tons of examples as well. No, it just doesn't seem like it's gonna break out of it, to be quite honest. Okay, resistance is fairly strong right now. Let's do an Elliott wave analysis and see what we can conjure up, right? 1, 2, I don't even think there's a 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. No, it just doesn't seem like it's the right time for it to break out. It just doesn't have the momentum to carry it upwards right now. Yeah, the volume is like really trending low. I mean, if it does break out, it'll do something really nice. 6, 7, 8% right here. Yeah, it ended up breaking downwards instead really hard, right? Do you guys see this? But I do believe it might actually just still end up going up. Like, I mean, I'm gonna buy around 684 ranges, okay? 684 would be a really nice place to be buying. Seems to be downtrending very hard now, if you guys notice right here, right? So now I'm gonna take a look at the level 2, and I'm gonna take a look right here at the histogram specifically to see how much this will actually downtrend and to see if we can actually bounce up whatsoever here, okay? If we just get a little slight bounce here, I want to see if we break out of here, but I think we're going to end up rallying really hard if we actually break out of here. So this is going to be a quick 2% gain here if we actually end up going up. $684, okay. I don't know if there's going to be one more wave up. This looks like the third wave. That's like an A, B, C, D, and E, and then it will break up is what it looks like right now. If I look on the 30-minute chart, it just looks like there's still some ways to go, right? You guys see what I mean? I mean, yeah, it does look like there's some ways to go, but that could be the ABC, you know? Do you guys know what I mean? Oh, it actually broke down out of it already. Take a look at that. That was really fast, I think. That's A, B, C. It might even be up, right? Very interesting coin right now. So how would we have played this in hindsight when we think about it, right? Well, we would have played this just by acknowledging the channel, actually, that it's forming in here, right? We would have noticed right here, it would have made some sort of channel. And as soon as it broke out of it, let me show you. This is how we would have done it. Right here. Okay? As soon as it broke that, that would have been your signal to go long. Because it would have made a really beautiful channel like that, actually. Right? Something like that. So we got to play resistances and supports like this all the time. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's basically 5 going up there, right? A fifth wave being a double top, and then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This looks like it's making an ABC actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. There might even be, just might be a fifth wave going up here. I don't know. Honestly, could not even tell you. Yeah, the level 2 is looking pretty grim right now. I just want to give you guys a lot of examples of how to be reading this level 2 with the market depth, right? So you look at the depth right now here as well. There's a lot of people that are wanting to buy around the 681 range actually, right? There's a lot more buyers than sellers, that's for sure. So now we're spiking up 684, right? Oops, I didn't mean to click on that. Do you guys see what's going on here? Looks like the ascending triangle might actually hold. Okay. I mean, even if I were to scalp this, a 1% scalp, I would have done that, right? I'm just waiting, honestly. I'm waiting to see if it's going to break above 694, and then I'll go ham. So here we go, guys. 689 range. It's going to go back up to the 695 ranges or so. It's just a matter of being extremely patient right now, actually. 689 range is just definitely trying extremely hard right now. Yeah, it's trying extremely hard, but I don't know if it's going to break out of it, to be honest. We just got to really give it some time. It's trying. Just be patient, guys. I don't think it's going to break out of it though, to be honest, okay? Doesn't look like it's got the momentum to go up there. It's getting like a shooting star kind of thing there. And this setup is kind of a setup for it to drop, right? Yeah, I wish you can short on here. If you can short on here, like, wow, you know? I'd be really good at shorting on here, to be quite honest. Yeah, I'm sorry guys, nothing is really coming out of this one here. Sometimes I want to teach you guys, excuse me there for stuttering. I want to teach you guys to like just how to scan in general with level 2 and just trying to read it, right? But honestly, it just looks like it's going to end up downtrending here instead. Just it doesn't look like it's got the momentum to go upwards anymore. This looks like ABC going upwards, and then now it's going to make a big drop coming down. And in my opinion, it's probably going to make a drop like this, okay? If I'm right, you know, take a look, right? Doesn't that just seem so likely? Right? It's going to come down to here first, maybe? And then they will attempt another one up there. But as it stands right now, there's just not enough momentum for it to actually go up. Not on any of these time frames, actually. The volume is just way too little, but I could be proven wrong, right? Let's actually get back to it. If it goes up, you know, like breaking above 694 ranges, we're golden. But it's got to pick up right now. Let's see the market depth. It's pretty even right now, actually. Right? If we break below here, 679, it's just not going to happen anymore. Any other coins that are very volatile? Nah. This is it. It's coming down. I think I'm right that it's going to break down. Notice how patient I'm actually being before I enter a trade. That's one of the key components of being a good trader, guys. I would definitely say that the majority of the times I actually just spend waiting. Okay, let's see, okay? Let's see if this is going to break down. Let's take a look at this very carefully. Right, we're seeing it like that right now, and we're seeing it like that. And I need to be very clear to you guys that we are able to play on the 1 minute chart if it is this volatile, right? You guys take a look at this. We're talking about 6, 7, 8% moves that are going upwards, right? So absolutely, it's okay to play on 1 minute charts when things are like this volatile, okay? So whoever tells you guys don't do that, they're entirely wrong. Always keep that in mind, okay? So we're squeezing into here right now, and we got a little bit of time. We got about 10 minutes or so to see what is going to possibly happen. And this is going to be a really good lesson because you guys are going to get a gauge of how I'm reading level 2 and how I'm evaluating whether I should enter a position or not, right? So right now, my theory is that it could possibly break out of here. And if it does, it's going to be great and I'll actually enter a trade. But if it doesn't, then all right. Because I'm thinking right now that's too late already. Well, this actually went up a lot, this coin. Went up 200% actually. That's kind of insane. That's really insane. So I'm thinking it's going to make one more down here because that's probably 3, 4, and 5, and that's A, and that's B, and it's probably going to make a C, and it's going to come completely down right now. So this is on the hour chart, right, that I'm looking at it. Let's look on the 4-hour chart even. Like, don't want to swing this? Maybe. But not likely either. Now, we're going to stick to our low time frame right here and see if this actually breaks down, okay? The moment that it breaks down, that's the moment we're going to say to ourselves, all right, we're going to have to reevaluate and see if we can actually enter this at a different time. Almost there, guys. Notice how this guy is coming in right here at 225 with 1.5 Bitcoin. But if we look at the market depth right now, it's pretty even now, right? Lots of people are buying here, but it's like 678. It could very well just drop to 678, and we're going to see very soon what happens here, okay? One of two things is going to happen. It's going to break out of this triangle that has been formed for how long now? For about 2 hours here, or it's going to break upwards. And either way, we're going to take a trade and be successful if the ascending triangle holds true. But if it doesn't hold true, then we're just going to drop it and reevaluate where to actually go in. So these are methods of analysis that sets a criteria to enter a trade, right? If it doesn't meet the criteria to enter a trade, absolutely no point of entering it. So notice that I never actually rushed to enter a trade. Don't mind the sound outside, by the way, guys. It's always very loud outside of my flat if you guys can actually hear it, okay? Let's see if we actually bounce off of here or we just completely crash down. It's pretty tight right now, right? It's extremely tight. It's kind of crazy how this spiked up right there, like 4% in like a minute, which is kind of insane sometimes when you think of the volatility, right? It's even more insane that since like that it spiked up 10% actually, which is even more. 10% a lot, guys. Like, you know, you playing a $5,000 account, even if it spiked up like 5%, that's a lot of money. That's like $250 right there, right? For such a small position. Here we go. Here's some reaction that we're getting here. Right there. I don't think so, guys. This guy just dumped 78,000 right there. There we go. We're coming down. There you guys go. Did you guys see that? There, you got the lesson, okay? You guys got the lesson very firmly, what I was trying to show you. Okay? Take this as a very incredibly valuable lesson for what we learned of how to be patient for an ascending triangle, okay? Did you guys just see that? I told you that there was 70, you guys rewind it if you want to see it. There was a guy that dumped 72,000 there, and that right there was a signal that it was not going to break up, okay? So that's how we are able to look at the level 2 and see if it will actually go up or go down. It breaks out of this ascending triangle very, very negatively. Bulls are trying to break it back up. So usually what happens is if it breaks out of a support, the bulls will try to rally back up there, right? That's why you're seeing a wick right there form as well still. But the volume is still really low. You know, I don't think it's going to actually break up. I think it's going to completely break down. But let's just see how this actually ends up being. Just to see if there's proof in the pudding of my theory of what we were just talking about, right? See how this wick is actually forming still, right? It's getting kind of pushed down. You look at the level 2 here, 81 is pushing it down even lower. As soon as 81 breaks, 79 will be hit, and that's going to be a really long wick, okay? Watch this. Watch the 81. If only 8,000, like 7,800-ish dump, then we're going to get to 79 because there's actually nothing between 79 and 81 here. So watch, just keep watching with me, guys. $79, there we go. See, 79. Did you guys see that? It ended up being in the next candle, but the bulls tried to get it back into the support zone, like, or above the resistance. That's now, or it was support, but now it's resistance. Now we're at 79, we're at 78. It's going to end up downtrending. So anyways, guys, this was a really good lesson on how to be patient for ascending triangles, right? If you guys had entered a position right there, it could have been extremely bad. So you always have to wait for the volume to pick up and for us to actually get some sort of confirmation to go to the upside. So yeah, anyways, guys, I wanted to give you guys one last lesson before I end this one. This level 2 one is actually pretty long already, and my 20 trades are actually 6 hours long, if you guys don't know. So I hope you guys are actually ready to watch 20 live. Actually, I made 21 live trades there for you guys instead, just because I had time to make more, and I won all 21 of them. I grew the account from 10K to about 13.3 thousand, something like that. Yeah, it was pretty easy actually with a 100% win rate. And yeah, we'll conclude this lesson, guys. We'll conclude lesson number, what lesson was this anyways? Okay, lesson number 6, okay, where we talked a lot about reading level 2, lots about reading price action, momentum changes, hidden walls, and we actually got into it a very high detail where I was narrating a lot of the different momentum swings and the price action in general and talking about hidden walls. So I hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed this class as much as I've enjoyed talking to you guys about it. So have yourselves a great night, guys. And for the next class, next lesson, we're going to be learning about an introduction to Elliott wave theory. And lesson number 8 as well will be intermediate Elliott wave theory. So have yourselves a great night, and I really do hope that you're enjoying this class so far. And just on one other note, take a look at how right I was, guys. We're completely downtrending now. If you guys had entered a position there, you would be down 2% already, which is actually a lot of money when it comes to scalping. Have yourselves a good day. Take care, everybody. Bye now.